Hello, this is Joan Pugh from First Financial Federal Credit Union. We're here today at our webinar titled CARS, From Negotiation to Financing, How to Get Your Best Deal. Hello, this is Joan Pugh from First Financial Hello, this is Joan Pugh from First Financial Federal Credit Union. We're here today with our webinar titled CARS, From Negotiation to Financing, How to Get Your Best Deal. Please do feel free to ask any questions. You can do that in the format where it says type message here. We will get to those questions at the end. And again, I do thank you for attending. That is me. My name is Joan. I am an Associate Marketing Manager here at First Financial, and there is my contact information. So, are you ready to buy a car? Let's get started. So, you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. For instance, how much can I afford? How much is that insurance going to cost? Nothing's worse than finding a dream car and then realizing that you can't afford the insurance. Financing, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. Choosing the right vehicle. What you need to know and do before you get the keys. Do you want a new or a used car? That's a pretty big decision. Do you want to buy that car through a private party, or do you want to make it through the dealer? You also want to know how to make your purchase and then some tips. So the first question to ask is, how much can I afford? How much can I afford to spend on this automobile? A rough number that we use would be 60% of your gross annual income. And a good example of that would be if you work 40 hours a week and you're earning $15 an hour, your gross annual income, and that would be before deductions, before taxes, would be about $31,200. 60% of that dollar amount is $18,720. So that would be the total cost of the vehicle. Remember, that includes a lot of things. Your fees, your taxes. The bottom line should be no more than $18,720. So you also want to look at your total budget. In other words, how much are you comfortable spending for your monthly payment? Remember, and we're going to say this again, you're never going to answer the question, how much do you want to pay a month? That's a question that the dealer will ask you to get you to maximize the amount of money that you're going to spend with him or her. But you do want to know how much you can afford, how much you can comfortably spend a month. You also want to think about how long you're going to be paying for the loan. So if you have a longer term, that makes your monthly payment lower, but it increases the total amount of interest paid. The other thing might be you might have a big expense coming up. So in 3 years, you might be planning on buying a house. You might want to time out your car loan so that your car loan is paid in full before you pick up that mortgage payment. Remember also, the total cost of the vehicle is not just the purchase price of the car, because there are other things that go into that cost. Not just your loan payment, but how much you're going to need to pay in insurance, how much you're going to have to pay for state tags and registration, gas, oil changes, routine maintenance, and repairs. All these amounts together determine your total monthly cost. So here's a really good example. If you can find a 2005 Honda Civic, buy it. It's a great car. But if we would look at this and say that your loan payments are about $300, your insurance maybe $100 a month, depending where you work, your gas might be $80, and then you can see dollar amounts for repairs, maintenance, oil changes, tag renewals. Your actual total monthly cost for this vehicle could be $570 a month. Now that sounds like a lot, but these are really conservative numbers, and it's going to vary depending on your situation. Now you want to look into your insurance, and you should really clear this up with your insurance agent. Talk to your insurance agent before you make decisions about what to buy. And there are really 3 types of car insurance policies. One includes liability, and that is if you are responsible for the accident, you're going to be responsible for the damage to the other car, but you're also going to be responsible for medical expenses or lost wages, pain and suffering for anybody who is involved in the accident. If you have a collision insurance, that pays for repairs to your vehicle. That would be the replacement of its market value. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Sometimes, especially if you have a new car and you haven't put a lot down, the amount of money that the collision pays for does not make up the difference for what you borrowed for the car. In other words, you total the car, the insurance company gives you $15,000, but you owe $17,000 on your car. That's a problem. We have a way to address that. It's something called gap insurance that we'll talk about a little bit later. The third type of insurance coverage is comprehensive, and that would be if the car is damaged, if it's stolen, if there was a fire or flood or high winds, then the insurance company is going to fix that car or replace it. If you are financing a car, then you need to have full coverage, meaning all three of these on your insurance policy. And you say, why is that? Well, the car is the collateral for the loan. So you're promising to give up the car if you don't pay the loan. If that collateral is not in good shape, then it's not worth as much. So the financial institution that's holding your auto loan is going to want to have all three of these types of insurances for the vehicle that they have financed. So insurance varies a lot as far as cost, depending on the age of the driver, the driving record of the driver, the type of car that it is, where you live, and how many miles you drive. You want to get an insurance quote before you make your purchase. And you want to compare rates from different companies because, again, you don't want to buy a car that you can't afford the insurance on. And you want to make sure that you're getting the best deal on your insurance that you possibly can. Well, how about financing your new car? Certainly, we're going to encourage you to look at First Financial for your financing. But you need to look not only at the monthly payment, but on the total amount of interest that you'll pay over the life of the loan. Because different types of loans will have different interest rates. When you buy a car, you can certainly do an auto loan, but you could also do a home equity loan. Sometimes the car is so old that you can't do a car loan for it. In that case, you have to do a personal loan. So where can you get your financing? Of course, with First Financial Federal Credit Union. We always say that car loans are the bread and butter of a credit union, and that's true. We always have excellent rates and excellent terms, which we'll talk about a little bit later. You can certainly go to another financial institution. You could go to the dealership or private party, meaning the person that you're buying the car from might be able to finance the car for you. So right now we have rates as low as 1.99%, and we have something called an auto check, which we're going to talk about, something you should really look into if you're buying a new car or going to the dealership. So how do you qualify for a loan? Well, we're going to look at a couple things, the 4 C's. One is your credit history. You know, the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. So if you've paid people in the past, then we have pretty good assurance that you will pay in the future. If you have not paid in the past, then we're a little hesitant about lending for the future. Part of that credit history is going to include your credit score and, again, how you make those payments. Second C is capacity to pay the loan. Are you going to, how big a percent of your monthly income is dedicated to making this loan payment? Third C is character. So how long have you been employed? How long have you lived at your current address? What kind of ties do you have to the community? And fourth is collateral, and that would be, in this case, the car. You know, is it a new car? What is it worth? If a person is approved, their credit score will determine the interest rate. So the better the credit score, the lower the interest rate because it's less of a risk. The poorer the credit score, the higher the interest rate because the risk is greater. So if a loan is turned down, why would that be? If a person has consistently made late payments, we could have a loan denied. Insufficient income to debt ratio, which means there's not enough money coming into the household to cover the number of obligations or dollar amount of the obligations. Sometimes if there's insufficient income to debt ratio, they'll ask for a co-signer on the loan. Filing for bankruptcy could be a reason that the loan would be denied. Having property repossessed or foreclosed, again, past behavior is the best indicator of future behavior. And liens or judgments. So if you have a court order to pay something, and an example of that might be someone doesn't pay their cell phone. So the cell phone company then goes to the court and asks for a judgment against the person who owes them the money. That's going to show in a person's credit report. Whether or not you're approved or denied for a loan, you definitely should get a copy of your credit report. And there are a couple ways that you can do that. The first would be to visit our website. We have a link right on the website, firstfinancial.org, where you can get a copy of your credit report. You can also contact one of the 3 nationwide credit reporting companies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And everyone's entitled to 1 free copy of their credit report a year. And that's 1 free credit report copy from each of the reporting agencies. So a really great practice would be if every 4 months you would go to a different credit reporting agency and ask for a copy of your credit report. That's a free way to keep an eye on your credit and see what's happening with your credit, and it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, this ends the beginning portion of our auto loan presentation. I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you.